let's begin our conversation tonight. It's going to be about the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Mr. Uche Enaji, who has been under intense scrutiny following a report that the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, UNN, has denied issuing the degree certificate linked to him. And there are different versions. We see how a version is submitted to Senate, which the matter went to court. There is a position of the minister, and there are controversy now echoing through the halls of the National Assembly and across social media platform, where we are now seeing critical questions being raised as to the verification, the processing, the credibility in the public office, and the due diligence of government vetting processes. Now, we are seeing the minister on one hand insisting that the records are authentic, but the date and the disparity that we see is troubling. On one hand, we've heard that he entered the university, yes, that he failed a particular course, but his entrance was noticed, but his exit was unknown. It brings to the question whether the minister actually graduated. Now, if he did not graduate, and it says that he finished from University of Nigeria in Nsukka, it can only point out to something, that there is something wrong with the certificate. If it's leading to forgery, it's in the dimension of criminal offenses, either the penal code or in the criminal code, whichever way you look at it. And in the north, it's even weightier as a punishment under the law than in the southern region of the country, where we have these different codes operating. But in all of this, public accountability is at the center of it. Nothing's been heard. It seems that the presidency is very quiet over this one, leaving the minister to start explaining himself. But is the explanation tenable? But there is an organization that has done a very decent, thorough job, in the sense that they took up this matter. They evoked the Freedom of Information Act process, where they obtain information not only from University of Nigeria and Nsukka, but also with NYSC. But are all the records as presented by Mr. Enaji authentic? If not, where did he get the one that is gave to the Senate from? Let's hear, because there is going to be a right of reply. Earlier on a sister program on this channel, there are accusations that there are intent of the newspaper, Premium Times, into how they got those information and why they did what they did, and maybe there are political angle to all of this. Let me speak tonight with the editor-in-chief of Premium Times, Mr. Musikiliu Majid, who is live for us virtually.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Good to see you, Mr. Kilo. Give us an understanding, first and foremost. Your organization has been accused of obtaining bribe for this story. What inspired this story? How did you begin the story? When you assigned the story to a reporter, what was the intent? Give us an understanding.
Okay, first of all, Robert Ungu, the spokesperson for the minister, accused us of receiving 100 million naira from the Enugu state government. Of course, he's going to prove that in court. We are not a newspaper that you can unduly malign. You know, we've built our integrity for close to 15 years. And we've done a lot of great stories, and no one has ever accused us of us. People know us for that. Our practice is built solidly on integrity, and not even a Robert Ungu or an Uche Enaji can destroy it. And so we'll meet in court. He will bring his evidence and tell us how the money was given and how it was received. So that's what I will say to him, because he ordinarily does not even deserve any response. Because I heard your colleagues asking him to provide evidence, and he couldn't. So, but of course, he's going to prove that he's definitely going to get his day in court to prove that. Now, regarding the
So
story,
sorry, Mr. Majid. So you have taken it upon yourself to pursue this matter in court. Have you instituted it, or you are planning to do, or you will do it?
no, it just happened. He just made the allegation this morning, and we've passed the matter to our lawyers. Is the video and all he said, we've passed it to our lawyers for review. So we're not going to take it lying low. That is always the strategy, the tactics for people. When you do reporting, they will accuse you of either playing politics, of being used, of being paid. It's as if journalists don't have integrity, and journalists cannot do their work without being induced. We don't take that, because we are not that kind of newsroom that pander to anyone. I say that all the time. Not even the richest man in the world can influence the reporting that we do at Premium Times. Not even the most powerful man in Nigeria or anywhere can influence. We've taken up anyone, and we always do our job with professionalism, deeply rooted in ethics. So for Ugu or whatever his name is to come on TV and malign us and say that, no one, if you recall, has ever done this to us, because people are very clear about how we run our newsroom. So we're going to take this all the way to court. We want to give him enough opportunity to really provide the evidence that he has.
Now, give us an understanding. I asked the question, what inspired the story? Because in a newsroom, there is a reason why a newsroom takes up a story. What inspired it?
Well, in this particular case, we really, at least from what the editors briefed me about, what they told me, a whistleblower had sent us an email to our newsroom email to raise concern and to alert us to some discrepancies in the minister's claim. And the whistleblower appealed to us to investigate. That he or she, we don't know the person, is confident that if we do diligent investigation, we will be able to uncover something shocking. And that we took up the challenge, and then we started working on it. Since 2023, we started working on it. In fact, we first wrote to the NYSC on, I'm trying to check the letter we sent to NYSC. We first of all wrote to the NYSC on 23 September 2023. That was when we started. So when this whistleblower wrote to us, the editors took it up and assigned reporters to do it. Some worked in Abuja, some worked in Enugu, and they were all working together consistently. So that was what happened. We had no battle with the minister. We didn't know him. But for us, this is not the first time. Our strength is investigation. Everybody know our newsroom for that. And when a matter is brought before us, we investigate. At times, we find things that are indicting. At times, we don't. But it's our job as journalists, especially as requested, as required of us by the Constitution, to hold power accountable, which is what we have done here.
Now, what did you discover? Who did you approach? When you evoked the FOI, who did you write to, and what did you find out?
Well, at least I've received enough briefing in the past few days from the editors and reporters who worked on this story. I'm told, and I've seen all the work that they did. First, they wrote to the NYSC, and the NYSC quite responded to say that they have no record of this, because what our newsroom did was to send the first of all, what happened immediately we tried to get exactly what he submitted to the Senate, the 10-page document that he submitted. It took a while because you need to beg senators to get, since it was only distributed to senators, you need sources within the Senate. So they got it eventually after, weeks of trying. After that, the certificates in that submission, there are two of them that became of interest to us, the NYSC certificate and then his degree certificate from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. We now made copies of those certificates. The copy of the NYSC certificate, we then attached it to a letter, to the FOI letter to the NYSC, asking them to authenticate the certificate. The NYSC wrote back to say, no, we can't authenticate this certificate. We don't have any record of this certificate. So if you have that this particular certificate, they basically said the certificate is fake. So when we got this, the letter from the NYSC, we now wrote to Uchenna himself on 8 January 2024. We wrote to him. We said in our letter that we received a petition raising questions on the validity of the certificate of national service you obtained from the NYSC. So we now say, however, the petition made it necessary for us to write to the NYSC for authentication of the certificate number A231309. However, the NYSC replied that it was unable to authenticate the certificate. To that extent, could you please provide us with the original copy of the certificate? Given the NYSC inability to authenticate the document that is submitted to the Senate during your confirmation hearing, can you say with confidence that your certificate is genuine? Kindly note that copies of this letter are also being sent to your email address, uchenanaji@gmail.com, and WhatsApp number 080330996. So that was so we wrote to him, to Naji, immediately after we heard back from NYSC. We then wrote to the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. We wrote to the registrar. I think that was, I'm trying to find the letter but that was also around the same time. We wrote to the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and then we didn't get any response. We sent reporters there several times to follow up. We sent reminders. We didn't get any response from them. At a point, they responded to our reporter and said we needed to pay 10,000 naira processing fee. But what we asked them to do was to authenticate the certificate that Mr. Naji had attached to his to document that he submitted to the Senate. To authenticate this certificate. Did you just hold on? I want to see if I can pull up the letter. The letter that we wrote to the NYSC, to the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, which is dated February 1, 2024. So we said that the above named person, because we attached the certificate, and we said the above named person, who is now Nigerian Minister of Science and Technology, claimed that he obtained a bachelor's degree in microbiology/biochemistry from your university, as seen in the attached certificate with number 004501. The person also claimed that he graduated from your institution in July 1985. So he also presented the certificate to the National Assembly during his screening for appointment. We said, one, we like to know if he indeed graduated from your institution and in July 1985. We also like to know if the certificate was issued to him by an institution at all and when. So we are requesting this information under the Freedom of Information Law and blah, blah, but they never responded. At a point, they asked us to pay initially 10,000, later 15,000, which we paid. They still didn't respond to us. So we now receive information that there were people instigating the registry staff at the university not to respond to us. We didn't know who the person was. We didn't know whether they were associates of anyone, any politician. But when we kept pushing, they now said we should go and provide Naji's registration number, his student number, which we didn't, for a long time, we couldn't find it. And that was how they shut the door on us. So we left it. We couldn't make progress with the investigation because we wanted to be really sure that the university issued the certificate or did not. Until when we now learned that in August, there is a new leadership at the university, we decided to try again. So we now wrote to both the vice chancellor. Initially, we wrote to just the registrar, but in our second attempt, we wrote to both the vice chancellor and the registrar separately, and we decided this time to courier the letter to each of them separately, which was what we did. Luckily for us, the vice chancellor responded, and just today, the registrar has just responded, affirming the same thing that the vice chancellor told us. So that was how we worked on that.
Okay.
But while waiting for his responses, we also did a lot of forensic analysis of the documents. We busied our time analyzing the documents, sourcing all kinds of, for instance, we must have reviewed more than 100 NYSC certificates belonging to different people across the years.
Yeah, yes. Just a moment. Let's, and I wanted you to analyze the process of your investigation, and so that Nigerians can understand what led the newspaper to what it did. For context, you are one person who has worked closely with one of the industry most reputable journalists in person of Dapo Olorunyomi, well-respected investigative journalist, one of the founders of Premium Times. So yourself and a lot of your colleagues are well-respected for the job that you do. So it was important for you to explain the process so people will understand. Now, having established how you got to this point, let me then ask you, what did you discover from your investigation? Did Minister Nnaji attend UNN?
Well, the truth of the matter is that he did not. And it took us a lot of work to come to that conclusion. Apart from what we put out, there were other information that we have. We spent a lot of time on the UNN campus, and there is just no evidence that he graduated. He attended university quite all right.
Yes, he entered, but he never graduated. That's what your investigation said.
No evidence. For instance, some of the documents that we saw, we could see, when he was admitted, the courses that he took, the many times that he was absent from school, the many times he brought medical certificates as reasons why he couldn't write exams. And that was part of the reason why I couldn't write the last exam, the virology exam. There is no evidence that after he missed the exam the first time, the second time, and perhaps the third time, there is no evidence that he returned to write that exam.
Mr. Maji, did he at any point in time were you able to find out any of his classmates at UNN?
No, the issue, of course he will have classmates because he was there. He was there. I'm just telling you that perhaps what we found was that he had a problem with one course, and which was a core course, a terminal course that he needed to sit to graduate. So he had classmates. In fact, I'm sure that many of his classmates perhaps didn't know that he didn't graduate, because I saw him brandishing maybe a class register or whatever. How will your classmate know that you ended up not writing the exam? But one thing is also clear. You claim you graduated in 1985, but as of September 1986, you are still communicating with the university, pleading to be allowed to write that course. So where did you get the certificate that you took to the National Youth Service?
So did he serve the 1 year compulsory youth service? Did he do it under NYSC?
Well, the NYSC said they are not aware. They didn't issue him this certificate.
So summarily, the UNN certificate is fake from what you found out.
Definitely.
The NYSC certificate too is fake from what you found out.
The UNM certificate is fake, and the university has said so.
What about the NYSC certificate he presented?
No,
is that also fake?
Okay. Wait. In 3 different correspondences, the university says he didn't issue the certificate. I mean, correspondence to us by the Vice Chancellor, a letter to us today by the registrar of the university, and then a letter to the Public Complaint Commission. The university says it didn't issue the certificate. Now, meaning that it's fake. The NYSC wrote to us to say they cannot authenticate this certificate, meaning they didn't issue it. Therefore, we can say, and our own findings, when you look at the NYSC certificate, you will, even without the NYSC telling us, you can see that it is fake. The man who signed it was not the head of the NYSC at the time he purportedly signed it. The man became the director of NYSC 18 months after he was said to have signed the certificate. How can that be?
All right.
How do you then have a service duration of 13 months? You, Sheung, did you serve for 13 months? I said we reviewed up to 100 NYSC certificates. No one said for 13 months, but only Uche Naji.
All right.
He holds a record as perhaps the only Nigerian who served, who did his NYSC for 13 months. And yeah.
Thank you so much indeed for your findings. Could you please avail us the registrar's correspondence with you? We'd like also to use it as a point of reference in our conversation.
Do you want me to read that for you?
No. You could help me send it so that we could use it subsequently. Well, I must thank you, Musekele Umojid, who is the Chief Operating Officer and the Editor-in-Chief.
But wait. Because there is an issue you didn't raise about the issue of the minister admitting that he never collected his certificate. I heard your colleague asking the Mr. Ungu or whatever about the affidavit that he deposed to himself, which is before a court of law in Abuja, that even though I'm reading from that affidavit here, that even though I am here to collect my certificate from the 3rd defendant, due largely to the non-cooperative attitude of the 3rd to 5th defendant, the 3rd defendant issued a letter dated 21st December 2023 to People's Gazette, which stated, among other things, as follows. He admitted in a case that he brought himself that he never collected any certificate from the UNN. So where did he get this certificate that he took to the Senate? The same certificate was what he gave. This certificate, where did he get it from? He took this certificate he gave it to the president for his appointment. When he was claimed by the State Security Service, that was the same certificate. And then he took it to the Senate. Where did he get it? But he said himself that he was yet to obtain his certificate from UNN.
Those are critical questions which we'll be asking. But I must thank you, the Chief Operating Officer of the Premium Times and the Editor-in-Chief, Mr. Musikiliu Mojid. Thank you so much indeed for the work you and your team have done on this matter.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
We take a break, everyone. But when we return, there's so much questions to be answered. Did Mr. Enaji go to school? If he went to school, did he attend the University of Nigeria, Nsukka? Did he serve the compulsory NYSC? If he did not, where did he get the certificates in which he submitted at the Senate and to the DSS? We'll be finding out more because the minister is responding tonight.